we go. Nail back on that side. Hey, you look good. You
Okay.
can load on up. So, yep, so you're just going to sit down in here.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to use this as a blanket or sit on it or
I'll
wear
probably
it.
sit on it.
Sit on it?
Yeah.
All right. Just like that.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, and you can scoot back there.
oh, this is good. I want to.
Yeah, you might want to. Oh, perfect.
Ah, please.
All right.
Damn it. So,
Roll these over your feet. Give you a little bit
okay.
more protection there. Keep it a little warmer.
Ooh.
And we're good to go. I'll do a quick run to the team. We'll be ready to hit the trail. Good job. All right, are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, you'll join me. Cool.
Yeah, I'm driving. Yeah.
I'm glad.
All right, guys, let's go.
This is really awesome.
Pardon?
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what they can do. Yes, I'll go through the team and kind of say their names and a little bit about kind of what their job in the team is. Every dog kind of has a special job.
Okay.
So that one way up in front we have Roan, our lead dog. And I rely on him big time. He's like kind of the most important dog. Easy guys. But that's my steering wheel up there. That's how you do all the steering is it's him. There's not a whole lot I can do back here. If I lean like this, I can move us over
Okay.
a little bit, but that's all I can do to steer. And I tell him where I want him to go. So if I want him to go left, I say haw.
Okay.
And if I want him to go to the right, I say G. So it's G and HA, and that's working animal commands. It's not specific to just sled dogs. It's the same commands I'd use for horses or mules or oxen. So animals can just, it's really easy for them to tell the difference between the sound G and the sound HA. So he's up there. You also want your lead dog to be a fast, hard-working dog as well, because if they're going slow, it's going to make everybody go slow. Good boy, Roan.
And the rest of them?
The rest of them, right behind them, we've got Ace, excuse me, and Bolt, and those guys are the swing dogs. The swing dogs, they're kind of like assistants to the lead dogs. A lot of times they'll have a backup leader there, just in case, you know, Roan isn't working out for some reason on a given day. Easy guys. But their job is to help the team swing out nice and wide around corners. That's why they're called swing dogs. And you're going to have faster dogs up there because you want your fastest dogs up front. You want the speed of your team to be towards the front of the team there. So you'll see a lot of times your really fast females up there. So we got two of our fastest girls with Ace and Bolt up there. The next two in line are called the team dogs. The team dogs, they don't have a whole lot of extra responsibility. That's just where you put your hardest pulling dogs. They just kind of put their head down, get in a groove, and pull, pull, pull is all they have to do. So we've got Pale there, that big goofball on the left. Then running next to him there, easy guys, is Boomer, our crazy, hyper-energetic dog. And right in front of the sled here, we've got what we call the wheel dogs, and that's kind of my power. That's where you generally put your biggest, strongest dogs. Easy guys. Being right in front of the sled, they get a little bit more of the weight to pull than everybody else. So you usually see a really strong muscle back here. We've got Porter on the left, who's one of our strongest dogs. It's Pale's brother. Easy guys. And right next to him there is Barley.
Barley.
Barley, Bolt, easy guys, and Boomer are all sisters. All the white dogs are all brothers and sisters, Bolt and boy. But those guys are just puppies. They're just about 1.5 years old. So they're not doing, you know, on the main race team this year. They'll be doing their first race in about 3 weeks, right here in Two Rivers. It's going to be a 200-mile race. Me and Amanda are going to take those guys out. We're not going to be trying to win the race. We're just going to be teaching the puppies what a race looks like.
I see.
So kind of going through the motions of a race. Good. So they'll do that this year, and then next year they'll have a chance to be on the A team and really start racing hard. So once they're about 3 years old, then they're ready for it. But you don't want to run them too hard when they're young because they're still developing. They're still growing. So you don't want to mess with that growing cycle. Easy guys. So, and they can switch around, you know, like Pale can run and swing, or Porter can run and team. The only ones we keep pretty consistent are the lead dogs. So Roan up there is almost always in lead. Good boy, Roan.
And who is the oldest dog here?
The oldest we have in the team right now is Roan, our leader. So we have a really young yard. The oldest dog we have is 9 years old. And usually that's kind of right around the end of their racing career.
Yeah.
Once they're 8 or 9 years old, generally the 3-year-olds you have are going to be a little bit better. They're going to be just more athletic, younger, more energy. 9 years old, they kind of start losing their vision. They can't see as well, and they're just getting old, and they don't have quite as much energy to keep going. So they can kind of, the timeline is at about 5 or 6 months old already. That's when they can start running in a harness. You just do really short runs when they're that young, and just kind of teaching them how to pull in a harness. And then, yeah, 2 years old, they can start racing, not competitively though. And then 3 years old, they can really race competitively. And about 3 to 7 or 8 years old is when they're kind of in their prime, and they can really be racing hard. once they're done racing, if they're not really good enough to stay in the race team, you don't just get rid of them. Those older dogs become your puppy trainers. So then they go back down to the puppy team, and they teach the puppies how to pull. So usually every puppy gets an older dog next to him. You know, like right now, easy guys. Barley has Porter to learn from. Boomer has Pale. Easy guys. And Bolt has Ace. So they all have an adult dog to kind of be like, okay, I gotta kind of role model myself after that dog.
That's nice.
Yeah, it works out pretty good. And then, you know, as far as like when the dog actually retires from running, we let the dog decide that. So that once they just aren't excited to go anymore, you can just kind of tell that they don't like running, they don't want to go out and run anymore. That's when they bring them inside and they become your pet. So we don't have any of those yet. So but soon, in a few years, we'll have a bunch of old dogs sleeping inside at night. Good job, you guys.
So how you guys decided to start the stuff?
To start this up, well, Matt, you know, Matt owns the kennel.
Yeah.
And he grew up with sled dogs. His parents had sled dogs, and he grew up in the bush, and, you know, running trap lines and stuff with the dogs. So once he got a little bit older, he just decided he wanted to try racing and see what it was like. So he started breeding his own dogs, and then about 5 years ago, he started his own kennel. So he's been doing this. I met him in the summer. We worked at the same place in the summertime. We worked on the Denver Glacier down in Skagway, Alaska. So we have a kind of a glacier operation up there where, you know, in the summertime, it's too hot to train the dogs here. The dogs need it to be really cold and there to be snow. So by going down to the glacier, it can still be really hot out, but because there's snow, dogs can still run because they have the snow to keep them nice and cool. So we do tours up there. You know, people come into the Skagway on the cruise ship. It's a really popular cruise ship destination. They get off the cruise ship, get on a helicopter, and fly up to us on the glacier, and then we give them a tour up there on the glacier. And so that's where I met Matt, and he was looking for a handler this year, somebody to help him train his race team. So he hired me. So, job, you guys. Yeah, it's a pretty cool lifestyle. Just training dogs, and we live completely off the grid. You know, come on, Bolt. Come on, Bolt. We get our electricity from that little generator that runs. We get our water from the river. We fill up about 15 5-gallon buckets of water. Easy, guys. We go down to the river. We fill those up. We come back. We've got that holding tank inside the yurt, and we just dump all the water in there. So all of our water just comes from the river. And then we heat. Our heat comes from burning wood. So that wood stove that was in the middle of the yurt there. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So what is your busiest season?
Well, right about now. So we've got kind of all of our big races coming up here in the next month. So we're pretty much all day, every day getting prepared for those races. So today, you know, after this tour, I'm just gonna get on the meat saw and cut up a bunch of fish today. Easy, guys. Start cutting up snacks and stuff for the trail. So on the trail, these guys, you know, every 20 miles or so, every hour or two, these guys get a snack, and that's just a frozen chunk of raw meat. Easy, guys. And that kind of gives them a little bit of calories, because when these guys are racing, they burn about 10 to 14,000 calories every day.
Oh, damn it.
So they eat like crazy. They're on the Olympic swimmer diet. They eat like Michael Phelps. So easy, guys. Yeah. So they get those snacks. They get, you know, chopped up meat in their meals. Right now, just training, these guys are eating about 100 pounds of food a day throughout the dog yard, and drinking about 40 gallons of water. So they eat a ton of food. So they eat kind of a dog kibble, the little dry brown pellets like you'd feed your dog at home, but especially formulated for sled dogs. So it's got tons of extra fats and proteins and supplements in there. And then they're getting a lot of meat as well. And that meat is either beef or chicken, tripe, fish, salmon is their favorite, or turkey skins, things like that. So it's nice to have a variety of meat though, so you can kind of switch it up. They don't have to eat the same thing every day. These guys burn fat like crazy, so you have to always just keep pumping them full of fat. What we're watching to know if these guys are pulling is that tug line that we hooked up to the back of their harness there.
Okay.
When that's nice and tight, if you look at Porter's right now here in front of us on the left, the black dog,
Yeah.
his is super, super tight. He's pulling perfect right now. But if you look at the puppy next to him, you see how hers is kind of bouncing around?
Yeah.
She's not pulling as hard. So
Slacking.
yeah, she's just a puppy, so she's kind of learning still. She's kind of picking it up a little bit slower than everybody else. So, but that's okay. She's still young.
Yeah. Do you have any, like, do you have special breeds for them, or?
Yeah, these guys are all Alaskan Husky.
Uh-huh.
So even though they look very different,
Yeah.
that's because the Alaskan Husky is kind of a mutt. It's mixed breed.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of a man-made breed designed to be the perfect sled dog. And that goes all the way back to the Gold Rush days. Back then, you know, they used whatever kind of dog they could get their hands on as a sled dog. They didn't care if it was a Husky, a Shepherd, a Mastiff, a Pointer. As long as the dog looked big and strong, they were going to hook it up to their sled and try to get to their gold. So, and the breeding for these guys has always been very selective. Only the very best of the best dogs get bred. Back in the old days, it wasn't necessarily always a Husky that was getting bred. So they've kind of got a mix of different breeds in their bloodlines. But genetically, they're all very, very similar at this point, just because it's been so long. At this point now, it's just Alaskan Husky getting bred with Alaskan Husky. And they're not purebred show dogs or anything like that, so we're not breeding for looks at all. So that's why you get kind of an inconsistency in looks with these guys. There's a lot of variety.
Ah. Yay, more. Hey guys.
Hey Judy. Good job, you guys. There's a lot of other mushers in this community. That's
Yeah.
kinda cool.
Great.
So yeah, they're just kind of a man-made genetic super dog, really. So with all that genetic, you know, or all that selective breeding,
Yep.
these guys have developed, you know, really tough feet, really thick coats, and a special metabolism, actually. So these guys, when they're racing, they'll be running about 100 to 120 miles every day. So it's incredible what they can do, the distance they can cover in one day.